Hello, my name is Archibald Pegasus, and today I'm going to introduce you to the world of removing vis motors from a KV6 inlet manifold. There is the KV6 inlet manifold, not to be confused with the kettle or that vice. Just in case you are unfamiliar with the KV6 engine, it is a Rover engine, a Rover V6. It can be commonly found in the Rover 75, the MG ZT and the Land Rover Freelander 1. It can be a 2-litre V6 with 140 brake horsepower, which is almost nowhere near enough, rather than just not enough. And it can be a 2.5 litre, which is better, in 160 something brake horsepower and about 190 something brake horsepower in the MG ZT 190, all of which are horrendous on fuel but sound very, very nice indeed. The KV6 is known for a particular problem. Amongst the worries of the belts, of which there are 3 and are very, very expensive to replace, the main problem people have with the KV6 is the inlet manifold itself, because the swirl flaps become loose and make a horrible, rattly, nasty, knackered engine sound that makes you think it's ruined. But the fact is, if you leave it as it is, it could well be, because they can disintegrate and go into the air intake and cause all sorts of unwanted havoc. Another common problem with the KV6 engine is the vis motors themselves, of which there are 2. There's one there and there's one there. Very easy to see, I am sure. These items are needed and saleable, just like the inlet manifold itself, of which I have a couple if you want one. But the vis motors themselves today are coming off of this because I have somebody who wants to buy them. If we look at this here, we can see one of the vis motors there is held on by 4 screws. Yeah, the ones with the positive type head. They're not a Torx, they're not a flat blade. Make sure you get the right tool. We take the screwdriver and we stick it in the hole and we apply pressure anti-clockwise, like so. If you go clockwise, it will not work. We undo the thing like that and the screw comes out anti-clockwise, also known as Lefty Lucy. Once you have taken the screws out, you need to put them somewhere safe, and for this purpose I'm going to stick them on a piece of tape like so, because they will stick to the tape, and then you can fold the tape over, and then of course they can't get lost as easily, although it is possible still to lose them. So let's put that just there. Incidentally, I once had a girlfriend called Lucy who was left-handed, and she was known as Lefty Lucy, which annoyed her intensely because she was a right-wing nutcase. Now we have to do the same thing with the other one. The next step is to simply pull it out, and then you must store it somewhere where it won't get damaged. Wrap it up in some of this pallet wrap, and then carefully place it inside a box. That's a box. Just one vis motor? No, there's 2. There's another one just there. The procedure is the same for taking it off. It is a matter of 4 screws that must be taken out with the application of Lefty Lucy. Might dig out some old pictures later. During the dismantling of this thing, you may want to take a break between taking one off and putting it away to taking the other one off and putting it away. You could have a cup of tea, visit the toilet, go to a library, whatever it is you'd like to do, just make sure you're relaxed. In the meantime, you will probably lose your screwdriver though, so it might be handy to keep it with you as you visit the library. Now here is something highly interesting. That is the second vis motor, and if we look at the screws there, we can see they're of a different size, and that means that you don't want to get them confused with one another. so I won't. So now we have 2 KV6 Viz motors in one box. Delightful, hey? But this box is going to be sent via Royal Mail, and so ideally some sort of packaging inside there would help, because otherwise they're going to be loose and rattling around like the inlet manifold itself if it's not any good. What can we use for wrapping? Gosh, what an intriguing and important question that is. You want something that's soft, that will pad out the box to stop any damage from happening should it get dropped, but you don't want something heavy. A bag of chips would be a good example, because that would do exactly the right job, but you don't really want food on your inlet manifold. I suppose a nice snack while you fit your new Viz motors might be a good idea, but no, instead I've got something called bubble wrap. Not very imaginative, but it works. Well, I'm sorry, but that's as far as my instructions go, because I went and wrapped it up and sent it off without even showing how to get to the post office.